Hi there, sourcers. This is Rajat from Ask Steve, and I want to give you a quick overview of all the different ways that Ask Steve can help you do your sourcing job faster. So you'll notice when you install Ask Steve that you have the Ask Steve tab on the bottom right, and you can click on it to open and close the Ask Steve side panel, and then a number of one-click AI tools that you can press. And so the first one is the Summarize This tool that comes out of the box. So let's say you're doing research on a candidate. There's a bunch of newspaper articles about them. You can click into any one of these articles, and rather than reading through them all, just click the Summarize This button, and then you will get a quick 5-bullet point summary of that article. And then I can go to the next one down here and summarize that. And so very quickly now I can go through and get the tops of the waves, all the high bullets that, the high points and the bullets that I need. And now it's really easy to customize this tool. All these tools are really easy to customize because they're all just English. So if I go open the side panel and click on Tools and then on Summarize This, we can see exactly how this tool is built. Here's some text I need some help with. This indicates a variable, the double brackets. And what that variable will get replaced with is either the current selection, if I have anything selected, or the entire page, if nothing is selected. And then it says, hey, summarize this text in 5 bullets. Don't exceed this number of words. Give me bullets as a result. And it's really easy to edit this. I can say, always give me results in Spanish. And then if I run that, it will give me the results in Spanish. And I can hit save, and then my tool is modified forever. So it's that easy to kind of create your own new tool and add in the instructions you want, or edit an existing one and change it to do whatever you want. So the summarization is great for when you're trying to do research really quickly. And again, you can make this 3 bullets, you can make it longer summaries, more in-depth, whatever you want. The second kind of tool I want to show you that you can create is one that actually takes that data, sends it to an AI for processing, and then writes it into Google Sheets or Excel or a number of other services. So let's say I want to capture a bunch of people on LinkedIn. Let me go to my profile here. Let's say I want to capture profile data from people as I'm surfing through LinkedIn, or even capture the people from search results or events, or even just capture people that I find out on the web somewhere. So what I have here is I've got a Google Sheet with 2 individual tabs in it. The first one is for profile data. So I've got like all the fields that I want to get off a person's profile. And the second one is just for people that I can get from various lists on the web or on LinkedIn. Now, the way I can build my own custom AI page scraper for each one of these sheets is open up the Ask Steve side panel, go to Tools, and click on New. It's going to ask me if I want to auto-create an AI scraper tool for this Google Sheet, and boom, it's created it. It even gave it an icon here. Let me go do the same thing here for this other sheet. Do it again, and now I've got 2. They both have the same icon. What I can do is I can go change the background color of one of them to something dark so that I can distinguish it. Okay, great. So this one is the one for lists, the top one, and the bottom one's the one for profiles. And I can change the icon to whatever I want, or I can just remove the icon, and then in that case, it will just use the first letter of the tool name. So now that I have those tools available, what I can do is I can go to this LinkedIn profile page, and I can click on the profiles one, and it's going to grab all that information from the profile, put it into structured form that matches all the headers, and then write it directly into my sheet. So if I go back to LinkedIn profiles, we can now see that I have all this data in my sheet. And it even included the URL that will take me back to that person's profile page, in this case, mine. So the way this works is it's actually looking at all the column headers here, and it's trying to figure out based on the column header what it should get. And if it can't figure it out, then what you can do is you can actually give it a hint. This is the prompt that was automatically generated for you based on this spreadsheet. So it's got, you can see all the different headers and like telling the LLM all the different things you want to get. In this case, I'm grabbing a lot of stuff, but you can add more text in here and say like, hey, in column location, always put X, and then hit save. And that's giving it yet another clue to the large language model about what to do. So we can see now I can go to anybody's profile page and I can grab that information off them. Here we go to Prabhu's, and I will grab his information. And then we can check out our other scraper in a second as well. Once this one gets done, let's see. It's grabbing all his information. Okay, wrote it to the sheet, and now we have a second line with his information. Now on this one, I've got a list of people that were kind of a search result or from an event or something, and I want to capture all these into my second sheet. So I'm going to click on this button, and you'll see that it's going through and it's grabbing all these people. It's filling in the columns that it can and not putting anything in the ones that it can't. And then if I go over to my From Lists tab, we can see that I've got all these people entered, including their links to their LinkedIn profiles, so that I can get back to them really quickly. And then we can do the same thing here on this sheet. And in this case, it won't get LinkedIn profiles, but I can run it because there's no LinkedIn profiles here. But let me grab it. And it's going to add them all to this sheet as well. So that quick and easy. And let's say I did want to, in this case, give the LLM a hint and say, hey, if you can't find their actual profile, build in a search link. So what I can do is I can look at the prompt here, and I can say, for LinkedIn URL, if you don't have the actual URL, then construct a LinkedIn search URL that has their first name, last name, and company. Okay, now I'm going to hit save. Now if I run this again on some new people, let's try this again and go take a look. We'll see that in this case, it actually did build a LinkedIn search link that will take me to the search results for that person that I can then very quickly get to their profile. So you can see how easy it is now to create these one-click AI page scrapers and then customize them to write content directly into your sheets, where you can then manipulate and search the data any way that you want. The next thing that you can do is you can use Ask Steve to build complicated queries of your sheets. We'll use this one because it's a simple one. I'm going to go up to the Add Tools button, and I'm going to find what tools I have that work with Google Sheets. I have a Google Sheets query builder. I'm going to click on that. I can see all the details here. I'm going to hit install. Now that I have that installed, I can, what I can do is I can highlight that one, query builder, and I'm going to highlight the first row of the headers because I don't need the rest of the data. And I'm going to say run, and I'm going to say, give me a list of all the people named Susan that work at Microsoft. Say okay, and it's going to generate a query for me that I can then copy, and I can paste that in here, and we can see that it actually grabbed the one person on my list that had the first name of Susan, which is right here. So that easy to create custom queries as well using Ask Steve. Now, let's go back to LinkedIn and let's look at some of the other tools that we have at our disposal. So I'm going to go to Add Tools, and there's two for recruiters that will probably be of interest to you. One is to qualify a candidate. So I'm going to install that one. And then I'm going to find one for a recruiting outreach message and install that one. Now, these ones don't have buttons turned on by default, but I can easily do that. So I'm going to go over here to my Tools menu, find the Qualify one, turn on the button, and then let's do the same thing for our recruiting one. Turn on the button, great. And in this case, these buttons are configured to only show on LinkedIn profiles, but you can change that. So now if I go back to LinkedIn, we'll see I don't have any extra buttons here, but if I go to my own profile, I have two new buttons, one for qualifying a candidate and one for writing a recruiting outreach message. Now, in both these cases, what I'm going to need is a job rec. Let me find a rec here and copy this. Great. And so if we look at let's just try and use these tools. So I'm going to qualify a candidate, paste in the job rec, hit OK. It's going to read the LinkedIn profile, read the job rec, look at the qualification criteria, and then rate this person on how good of a match they are. And then the right one is very similar, except it's going to write a personalized outreach message to this employee that knows their name, mentions their current roles, connections, all that kind of stuff. So if we look at the way these ones are built, you should definitely modify both of these. Let's take a look at the qualify one, and we can see exactly how it works here. It grabs the person's LinkedIn profile. It asks you for the job requisition. That's what these double curly braces means. It means ask the user for something. And then it has a bunch of details about how it wants to do the qualification criteria, including the scoring, etc. There's a whole separate video about how to modify this particular tool, which you should go watch. on our YouTube channel, but you should make it and iterate on it until it gives you scores that you think are accurately reflecting how you would qualify the candidate. And then if we look at the recruiting outreach message one, very similarly, it reads, it looks at the job rec, it reads the person's profile here with this variable, and then it kind of describes the kind of message that you want. And you can give it examples of your own writing. You can tell it the kind of tone you want so that you can get messages customized for exactly how you want. And then you can send them via LinkedIn or whatever other mechanism makes sense for you. Show you one or two other quick things. Here I am in Gmail and I want to write an update email to a candidate. I can click on the Ask Steve writing helper and I can say, write me an update email to a candidate about a job they applied for. And then it can write it for me right in line right there. And then I can fill it out. And then I can get help editing as well, not just writing. So I can say, make this friendlier, or make this more formal, or whatever I want, I can ask for. And then I can also run any of my tools here as well. So I've got one like improve this email, and it will try to improve it and make it better. And then the last thing I'll notice is there's a number of other things you can do with Ask Steve, but like here's one that I use all the time, which is like translation. I can highlight this text. I can go to the do something button. Let me click on that and I can say English. I just want this in English. And it will give me the translation in English right in line, so I don't have to actually leave and do any copying and pasting. So that's just a quick overview of some of the things that you can do with Ask Steve. Everything I showed you is available on the free plan, so please go to asksteve.to, download it, try it today, and if you have any questions, check out our showcase, our YouTube videos, or feel free to ask them in our user community. Thanks.